Hi, I'm Christopher Walker with Closely Observed Literature. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the Radetzky March by Joseph Roth. So this was a book that I picked up thinking, oh yeah, I'll read that one day, it's a classic, I'm sure. And then I put it off and I put it off and I kept thinking, maybe not yet. And I started reading it and it didn't really grab me. And I to be honest with you, I did consider giving up after a few pages, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because before I knew it, I was halfway through, and I was invested in the story of the von Trotter family, their history, the different generations that we meet, the characters that we focus on, and the whole setting. I mean, this is it takes place in the final years of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, so it leads up towards World War I. There's so much that goes on here. There's so much detail and so much history, and it shows kind of, it's one of those books that likes to show you behind the scenes of history. You know, it takes for granted that you know what the history was or who the personages were, and then it makes them human in a way that a history book might not. So, like the emperor, who is basically deaf, a bit blind, but he's learnt when to respond and how to respond appropriately to the people around him. And this is kind of how the government continues to work, despite his approaching senility, basically. It's little things like that. So if you're interested in kind of the language or the literature of the German world, certainly end of the 19th, start of the 20th century, it's a very good book, and it has inspired me to read another book about the same sort of period, which is The Man Without Qualities by Robert Musil, which is probably 3 times as big as this, so it's going to be a while before I post a review of that book. But yeah, coming back to the Radetzky March, very highly recommended. Like a lot of like a lot of books that I review here, I tend to finish books that I like, and I tend to give up on books that I don't. And then there's also a high likelihood that if I'm reading a book, it's because I think I'm going to like it anyway. So it's quite rare for me to read a book that I then don't want to recommend to people. So if you're getting tired of hearing that a book is highly recommended or very highly recommended, I'm sure you're not tired of it, really. I'm sure you're kind of happy, because it means that the world of books is just brilliant. So there we go. See you next time.